What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bionic Podcast. I want to welcome all my listeners on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and on any other listening platform. I have a really deep, emotional family episode planned for you guys. I have my cousin here from Montreal, Luigi Meli. My first cousin. Say what's up, bro.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
So we have a really awesome podcast planned for you guys. Me and this guy have gone through so much. Our family has gone through so much. So we're going to take it back. This would have been an episode I would have loved to add to the Meet Team Bionic first series that I did. But Lou lives in Montreal. He's originated out of Montreal. We're going to talk about how our family came to be and all that type of stuff. But we're going to start by doing a quick toast in the Bionic mugs. Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
In the mugs, guys, we have Yoga Peach Juice. If any of you know the little Italian peach juices, it comes in apricot, pear, your favorite flavors. Italy just won the Euro Cup, so we are super pumped and feeling extremely patriotic. Siamo noi means it is us. We are the champions. In the last episode, I was wearing an Italian jersey, so you already know the boys are fired up. But we're going to get into it, bro. How's the drive here?
Quick and easy.
That's it, best driver. So we have kind of like a timeline podcast planned out for you guys where we're gonna kind of start from Lou's childhood, kind of like all the episodes from Meet Team Bionic. So I have here, bro, like what was it like growing up in Montreal? Where did you grow up, and what was your living situation?
So obviously, as you know, I grew up in Villemard with Nono, my grandparents, and at the time, Daddy was staying with us. Your dad,
my dad,
my uncle, and the relationship started from there. Me and my uncle got very tight. I don't even call him my uncle anymore. I call your dad my brother.
Yeah. So tell everybody the age gap between you and Nick.
So the age gap is 10 years. I'm 39 right now, and Daddy's 49.
Yep.
So we're gonna be hitting 2 big milestones soon.
Huge.
And short and sweet, man. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. So I owe a lot of my knowledge and my upbringing to your dad, and we can start from there, man.
You guys had such a cool story, guys. So they grew up in a really small, like 2 to 3 bedroom apartment, and they actually slept in the same room for like the longest time growing up.
In the same bed also.
In the same bed at
times.
Scared.
I was scared to sleep alone when I was younger, so I would go and I still tell Daddy today, like, scooch over, right? Scooch. and I would just like sleep with him in the bed, you know?
It's awesome, guys. I grew up with stories of my dad. When my dad was young and partying, like he would try and go out, and like Lou would be like his little brother, like trying to go out with him, trying to go hang out with him and his friends and stuff like that. So I always thought that was super dope because I never grew up with a brother. And my dad's brother is a lot older than him, right? Like both of our uncle, like it was our uncle, Lou's mom, and then my dad was like 10 years later or something like that.
It was fun. It was different. It was different to have a brother, right? So you notice it when you have your own kids that, yes, sometimes it's a bit of a headache to have 2 kids, but you see it, the upbringing is, you get tighter with a brother and a sibling, right?
Of course, yeah. So, and I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but we spoke about it. You know, Villemard is like a very small town. Everybody knows everybody and stuff like that. And you would say like it's a bit rough, like around the edges.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. Like back in the 80s and the 90s, everybody grew up like, it's like I always say, poverty is a great motivator, right? So I grew up poor with my grandparents, right? So you had to start working. I had to start working at a very young age, and so I had to give back to help my grandparents, right? So you learn a lot from growing up poor and trying to better yourself every day and trying to work hard to get out of that state, right? Mm-hmm. So that's
literal, like get out of the hood type shit.
Yeah, like never forget where you come from, obviously, but you try to give back, right? Like now, at 39, like even now when I go see my grandmother and my mom or my uncle, like you always try to do the best for them, right? So look, I'm trying to do the same thing for my kid now. You have to teach, like like we always talk about all the time, like Rule 6. You have to give back because I believe in giving back, and it's not monetary wise, but just
as much as you can.
As
and
much
what
as you
he's
can.
referring to, guys, is the like Arnold's 6 rules of life, and just I know this is gonna be like a jumping around podcast, but you guys know I always try and keep it on track. But like Arnold and like bodybuilding and the reason why I got into any of this was you were like a huge inspiration to me. Like always like growing up, Lou was like always going to the gym, always like deadlifting, squatting, benching and stuff like that. And Arnold was like a huge inspiration for both of us, right?
Yeah,
So
he literally changed my life.
Yeah.
So it was, it's a crazy story, but it's one of my old friends. I still talk to him to this day, but big shout out to him if he's listening, which I'll send him a text later. He used to play hockey, as you know, when I was younger, so he wanted to come with me. Older guy, right? So it was funny. First shift, I get on the ice, I bust my knee. So I ended up staying at his house to recover. So every morning he would go downstairs, and I asked him, I said, well, like, where are you going downstairs? He goes, oh man, he's like, I got a gym. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, I'm training. He's like, yeah, you know what? He's like, wait for me, I'll be back. He's like, here, watch this. So he gave me the movie Pumping Iron, and it just, it's over. Right?
Changed your life.
It just changed my life. It just, as you could say, it's like it's in the books now.
No,
so.
that movie changed a lot of people I know's lives. So yeah, bro. And so the next thing I wanted to move on to was kind of just to like build up on like your upbringing is like you went to college.
I went to college. I went to John Abbott. And I never finished.
But what did you study there?
I studied commerce.
Okay.
I have one of my best friends today is a chartered accountant, and I wanted to be just like him when I was growing up, right? So I went to commerce. It was harder than I thought, but then what happened was like I said, right? I had to work
to sustain life,
myself and my grandparents. So I was going to work, but I was working more than I was going to school. So eventually I had 1 semester left, but I just dropped out. And I continued working. I was working at a restaurant back then.
Okay.
And that's when I started, man. I just started rolling into work.
Yeah. So that's perfect for the podcast. So the next question I have is, what did you do for work leading up to the big Toronto trip that we're gonna talk about in a bit? Talk about like just a couple jobs that you had in Montreal that stood out.
After
the ones that you did the longest.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, after the restaurant, I went to work at McDonald's. I stayed there for about 2 years. Then after that, I was working. My buddy had a company doing skins, not skins, but like they would butcher the cows and take the skin off the cow, and they would send it to my buddy, and he would like salt the skins, and they would send it to Italy for like leather. They would make like all kinds of stuff with leather, and sometimes when you go into an old Italian house, they had like the
carpet,
that cow carpet.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, and that's when one of my good friends today got me a job into construction. That's when it started. I started working construction. I was there for 5 years. Then I left that.
You did roofing for a bit. I remember
I did roofing for a long time.
I was growing up.
And that's when I called Daddy and I said, listen, I think I need a bit of a change. So it was about, I think, 2008.
So would you say maybe you did like 5 to 7 years of construction, like labor work? You were like...
More than that. I did more than that. I did... I was in roofing for about 7-8 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Christ. And then I did construction. I was doing infrastructures downtown in Montreal, like cement work and stuff like that. I was there for 5 years. And one day, man, you wake up and you're tired. You're mentally fatigued. And this guy called Daddy and I said, listen, I need a change.
I remember when you were like trying to work out and stuff like after work, and you'd be like just butchered from the labor.
It's
like
impossible, man.
Being in the sun for like 10, 12 hours a day. Like,
yeah, you could do it. Like, obviously, that's the goal, right? Is to be mentally strong, so it could push you to do other things.
Yeah,
right?
But your body takes over.
Your body, that's it. Your body gets tired. It fatigues. Like, I get it. I understand. Some people, they say like, how do you guys do it after a hard day's work? Like, you got to be mentally strong, but
that's hard.
You got to be. The training has to be smart, right? Too.
For sure. So yeah. So then the big trip leading up to Toronto was a big transition period in my life, which is funny because when my parents separated, I was in grade 5, and I think it was like the year after when I was in grade 6. Lou decided to make the trip to Toronto to live here, and he moved all of his stuff. and it was really cool because it was like dude, like getting a new roommate. Like my first cousin, like my older cousin. Another thing too, you guys know from the Meet Team Bionic series is like my family, my immediate family that lives here in Mississauga in the GTA is all girls. So I grew up with like girl cousins all the time, like never really had a guy to like hang out with, play things with, or whatever. So I had this guy come and live with us, but he was like, he's older, like you guys know, like he's turning 40, I'm 23 years old, so there's a solid age gap even though we're first cousins.
But it was a good time in my life, man. It was
Right.
it was a very, you could say it was rough, but I think it brought us
All together. So
all together.
this is the question I have for you. What happened while you were here in Toronto for work? So explain that first. Like kind of what were like your job
So-
opportunities? Explain to everybody, like, because everybody maybe questions or is like, hey, like both of Jules's parents came from Montreal to Toronto. They said it was for opportunities. They said it was forever. So describe your experience coming here.
So
and
when
looking for a
when I
job.
came here, you know how Daddy is, right? He's got that,
You can't stay
you
home
can't
for a
stay home
day.
mentality. You know, the failure is not an option.
But is it staying home is not enough?
Staying home is not an option, right? So like every day home is a day lost, and it's I take that with me today too, right?
For sure.
So when I came here, he told me, he's like, look, get on the internet, get online, look for work, do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting a job as a car jockey at Honda on, if I remember, at Dundas. And I was there, man. I was working 6 days a week, and I was making like $323 a week.
Jeez.
And it was like, man, it's gonna be hard to be successful here in Toronto, right? Because I didn't know the life. I didn't really have a sense of what it takes to live here.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
what, like, you know,
Like
Montreal.
culture shock.
It's like a bit of a culture shock, right? Because Montreal is easier. You know somebody to get you a job. You know, like you're more accustomed to the life there, right?
Yeah.
So here it was like a big, it was a big change for me, right? Then I was telling Dad, I go, maybe I should look for a place on my own, and it was like it was impossible.
Yeah, it's bro, living here is fucking
Yeah,
hard.
it's hard, man. It is. So then I stayed with you guys for 6 months. Then I called CEO. I called Nick's older brother, our uncle, and I told him. I said, listen, I said, you're gonna have to come pick me up. I said, because I can't do it here anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I still have not a little bit of a regret, but like me and Daddy, we got into like a bit of a tiff, right? But
Yeah.
And you know how I am too. Like I get very emotional, and it's funny because you can ask Daddy today. I thank him every day. I send him a text
for that experience.
for that experience, because what I learned with Daddy in that amount of time, like it's you can't buy back time, bro. And I tell you this all the time: the time you spend with close friends, family, no matter how much money you have in the world, you'll never buy it back, bro. And that's why I stay close. That's why I text you 10,000 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask even all my friends, like, how many times does Louis text you? He's like, oh my God, man. I sometimes have to keep him on silent. But you know what? They'll never say,
It's out of pure love.
yeah, they'll never say this guy never kept in touch, right? So that's the goal, right? Besides other things, staying
Yeah.
together, whatever. You like just we're going on in a little bit of a rabbit hole, but
No, of course, but no, that 100% I see that because like you guys you didn't see eye to eye. Like Nick saw it as like there's a million opportunities here or whatever, and you saw it as like maybe like not, or like it was a bit more difficult than he was making it seem.
Yeah, for sure. But when you're young, you think you know it all, right?
Yeah,
That's
for
what happens, man.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
you're young, you're immature. You're always like I was telling Dad, yeah, don't worry about, like, you have the yeah attitude, I call it, right?
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
but then when you
I
go,
fucking love that.
Yeah, I know. Like, so it's like when you go through it yourself, you really like I told your mom today. I'm like, you know what? When I was younger, didn't really pay attention to what you were saying. But as you get older, you obviously like I meditate every morning now, right? Like half an hour. So you think about everything people tell you. You reminisce, and it all comes to. I don't want to use the word light, but it all comes to like to light, right?
Yeah.
So you're really thinking about it. You're like, oh man, I remember he told me this.
Mindfulness.
You're really putting it into perspective, right? So that's
That was a crazy time. Now, to lighten up that story a bit, because it was a really good time or whatever, but the stuff that we did in this little apartment,
Oh,
you could
man.
picture me at. I'm so bad with this shit though. Like kids and like their grade and how old they are. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
How old are you in grade 6? 11?
yeah. Who remembers?
Something like that. Like 10 or 11 years old. Cat's like 7 or 8 years old. And my question is to you: what's a story you'll never forget, like living with us?
Best story of all time was I got that second job at the mall.
Yeah.
Remember, because I wasn't making a lot of money at Honda.
Yeah. So you got another job.
So I got another job. I got a second job, right? And the job was, if I'm not mistaken, 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I would start at Honda like at 9, 10 in the morning. So I had like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, you worked like a 9 to 5 and then you worked the night
right.
shift.
So it was
savage.
So yeah, so it was working at the mall, Oakville
Place.
It was mopping the like the mall. It was mopping the mall, right? They had the big machine, whatever, right? So I came home at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden at 7 o'clock in the morning, I hear the microwave flying. You were all pissed off because, obviously, we didn't have a lot of money back then, so Daddy gave you popcorn and water for lunch. And then I hear a cat come out of her room playing music full blast. So I woke up and I just, me, man, back then I just snapped. I was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was throwing the couch pillows everywhere. I'm like, I can't sleep in here. What is this?
You were sleeping out on the couch.
I was sleeping on the couch.
Guys, it was a 2-bedroom. My dad's master, me and my sister in a bunk bed, and then this guy in the family room. So like literally he heard everything. And yeah, honestly, like it's I don't think we talked about it too much on Daddy's episode, but when we were in that apartment, it was tough times, man.
Yeah.
Like we really didn't have like a lot of like snacks. Like, and when you go to elementary school here, like you get first snack, lunch, and second snack. Like he'd be giving me like 3-4 granola bars and like a bottle of water, like send me off to school, like and same thing too is like it's a single dad, bro. Like don't tell me that as soon as parents split up or whatever, like both parent knows exactly what to do right away. It was super fresh, like, and I was like, fuck, bro, I fucking smashed granola bars all week, bro.
And you guys were young, so you didn't have like the understanding of what was going on also, right? You don't know what's going on. Like I had a little bit of an understanding, but you're still young, man. I was like in my middle 20s, like, so it doesn't really come into perspective, right? So it's only when you get older, man. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So when you get older,
you start to realize.
right? When you're on your own, when you have a kid, when you do this, when you do that. So it was like, like for Daddy, man, I have ultimate respect, right? You know that.
Of course, bro. I mean, the stuff that we did, though, was so much fun. So
yeah, like
at the end of the day, our family is like, it doesn't matter what we have. Same thing with like back in Montreal, like for us, all that matters is like being with each other.
Yeah, that's what matters, man. Yeah. It's like you can't overthink things.
Yeah,
man.
It's not about what you're doing.
It's not what you're doing, eating, what you have, what you're eating. Just
being together.
Just being together, man. That's what it is, and I find a lot of people can't grasp that concept. It's just about being together. It's not about asking 10,000 questions, what you're doing tomorrow, what you're eating, how you making it, this, that, this. Like, I'm here, bro. Let's have a coffee. Let's have a pear juice. And what did you do this morning? And that's it. And let it go.
Yeah.
Like, I find people, like, their brain is always firing on all cylinders.
I think like, the way to, like, put that into perspective is, like, being present.
You have to be.
People struggle, like, being present. It's always about, like, what their plans are, what they're doing, what they did in the past or whatever, but like being in the present, like right now, like what's going on, bro. Like
the power of now, bro.
The power of now.
That's another heavy book.
That's a good book.
So the power of now, what's going on right now? I'm doing this podcast. I told you I was really, really nervous to do this podcast, but you know what? What happens? You get into the mental state of flow, right? So you're the flow state. So you're just flowing. Yes, I might not talk, like I came out of Harvard University, but like I said, just get the message out there. People are gonna get it, bro. Trust me, people are gonna get it. Yeah, like I told you, they're gonna get weeded out. People get weeded out quick. The negative people, all the we spoke about this before. The haters, all that, they get weeded out faster than you think. You people think yes, you'll always have haters. You'll always have the negative people complaining all day. They'll get weeded out, man.
And something that I've also noticed as well myself is, and my business is a bit more mature. Like, I've been in business for 4 years. You've been in business for almost a year now.
7 months.
7 months. So we're going to talk about your business later, but a topic that kind of happens when you start your own business is you really see, because I was talking to a buddy about this, but you really see when you start something and it's like your own and whatever, and you're trying to do it like full time, like you really see who's actually there for you, who
100%.
actually wants to support you. Not like, yeah, I fucking support you over text, or I'll like your picture. Like, what does liking a picture really fucking do? Like, actually sharing a picture is a bit more of like a thoughtful act, where like you're sharing a post that your buddy's brand made or whatever. But at the end of the day, like it makes it almost like blatant and obvious the people that are just like either don't want you to do well, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but that's what I tell you to do, right? Every day, you know, one of my very, very close friends to this day changed my life with one line. And he told me 2 years ago, he said, you do you. And that's it. And everything else will fall into place. People want to be in your life, bro. They know how to do it. It's not hard. Yeah. People have 8 phones, 8 iPads, 16 laptops. They know how to get in touch with us. Mm-hmm. So if they want to support you, they know how to support you. Yeah. One text away, a phone call. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's...
Me and you are very also like phone call preference. Like,
well, now I started doing the FaceTime, so I like the FaceTime.
Yeah,
too,
you're
right?
fucking ripping the FaceTime.
I'm ripping the FaceTime.
Yeah,
I like.
You used to be Samsung guy.
Yeah,
for the
Samsung. Now I switched to Apple. Last year was another deadly story. So I switched to Apple, and I was like I was all lost on the Apple, and I'm like, you know, like Tanya looks at me like, yeah, you know, you can FaceTime. I'm like, what FaceTime? Like, what's that? Because I was so used to WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, WhatsApp.
So now I'm like calling my buddies. I'm like, what's this kid doing, man? He's FaceTiming me. I'm at work, you know? Like I got my buddy, I'm FaceTiming him. He goes, you know, I do work, right? So he hangs up but.
So we'll bridge on from that actually. So tell everybody what you're currently doing for work now, like the ships.
So obviously, you know, it's been 8 years now. I work on those big tankers or bulkers sometimes. I carry fuel around Ontario, East Coast. I did the Arctic for 4.5 years, but that took a toll because, you know, you leave for like 3, 4, sometimes 5 months at a time. So it takes a toll on not only on yourself, but on your family, right? So it's...
So now tell everybody like you're doing 30 days on, 30 days off.
Yeah, so
normally.
I switched my contract now. So I do about a month home, a month off, right? So it's a month home and a month at work. So it's... For me, I really believe in that quality of lifestyle because when I'm home, it's like you have no boss, right? It's you can do
you have 30-day vacation.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
like a 30-day vacation, right?
Yeah.
So obviously,
so tell them why like you prefer that versus like a 9 to 5.
Because I did the 9 to 5, man. You know, and it's like, you know, you wake up in the morning, you have to go to work, you come back. And you're still thinking about work. Then when you wake up, you gotta go back to work. So for me, it's like the flow is like you're always in work, right?
Yeah,
you
never get out of it.
You never get out of it type. And plus, my kid, I want to see my kid more often. Yes, I leave my kid now, but like what people don't understand is when I'm home for 30 days, it's quality time. It's not like, you know, but let's say I go back to work construction, wake up at 5 a.m, my kid's sleeping. I gotta leave. I have to go to the shop. I come back at 7 o'clock at night. He's getting ready for bed. So what did I do? I didn't do anything, right? So now when I leave for a month, he was born into it, so he gets it now, right?
Yeah. He knows that like daddy's gonna be gone for a bit. And
like he knows now, like, you know, Tanya goes with the calendar and stuff. So when I'm gone for 30 days, obviously now with the technology we have, plus I work here, so it's not like back in the Arctic where sometimes, you know, you have no Wi-Fi for 30 days, you know, you're freaking out, and it plays a big mental game too, where you got to be mentally strong to do that job. You know, people think it's like, yeah, but it's all physical.
No, you're in like a little cell. It's like jail.
It's almost like jail. It's like
what you have is what you have. Like,
that's it.
You
right?
can't drive
anywhere.
You
can't go to like Jean Couture or like, what do you guys have here? Shoppers. You can't go to Shoppers here and buy what you need.
Slang.
Yeah, it's like you gotta buy, like, you gotta bring what your stuff, what you need, and that's what it is, right?
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
Going back, it's like, so when I'm home, like, obviously, like I said, like I focus on my family, I focus on myself, and that's going to why I opened LTC Nutrition and Performance, because I was home. Obviously, during the pandemic, you know, I had a lot of friends of mine, you know, asking me, you know, can you help me here? Can you help me do this? They were, you know, like, I have a gym at home, obviously, so people were coming to train at the gym. And
not obviously. One last topic I want to talk to you about before we go, because that's the last thing we're going to talk about is your company. as I want to talk to you about. So you went back to Montreal. You met Tanya.
I met Tanya.
Okay, and how long were you guys together before you got married?
I was with Tanya for 3.5, 4 years.
Okay, so about 3.5, 4 years. You meet this girl. She meets us. Love her. She's absolutely amazing.
That's
And
it. The rest is history.
rest is history. You got married. Tell everybody the story about me at your wedding, because this is like a cemented history story for the Meli family. Like, well, no one will ever forget this. Tell them what happened.
The speech.
Oh, okay, the speech, and then
Well, I got the
yeah. You can tell them. I don't give a shit, bro. This is the podcast. Don't give
that
a
night.
fuck.
That night we couldn't find you for 2 hours, and you were paralyzed outside. I'm like, where? I look at Tanya. I'm like, where's Jules? My cousin came. I can't find him. So we go outside. You're on the grass. I'm like, you know what? But listen.
I was young, dude. I didn't know
obvious-
how to tolerate my guys. This was the thing. I think I was like 17.
Yeah,
at the
no,
time.
you were a bit younger.
16,
I think too.
17, and in Montreal, the legal drinking age is 18. But when I got there, and this is just a Montreal thing, when I got there and I asked for a beer at the thing, it was like the big thing because I was wondering if I was going to get carded. And the guy's like, I was like, oh, can I have a Heineken? Gives me the bottle. Doesn't ask me one question,
Yeah,
dude.
there's no-
and
no-
I didn't have like a crazy beard or anything back then.
No,
so
you were
I just
still
had-
young, right?
Yeah, I just had long hair. I looked like a 16
I
year old.
still have the picture, the exact picture that I took with you. I have it in my
In your
my
head.
head.
Yeah,
in my
like
head,
I
right?
had like a clean shave, like
Yeah.
flow, but like the guy didn't question me, so I was like, all right, guess I'm getting licked.
But
And the big thing was I had to do a speech, so I was so fucking nervous because me and my sister are completely different. Like you guys know, like I'm the sports guy. My sister was like acting, so she always grew up like on stage in theater, doing like musicals, dances, all this type of stuff. So for my sister to get in front of people and say something, she doesn't give a shit. Like she just doesn't care. And people think like I have like fluent speech on the podcast and shit. Like
No.
it's because nobody's here. It's because it's a camera. I don't give a shit. You know. But like if there was like 300 an Italian person wedding, like 300 people there, 400 people there, and I'm standing there with a mic in my hand. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have I'm gonna have 3 beers before the speech. So I had 3 beers. I did my speech. It was this big funny thing where Lou was busting my balls for a tracksuit, like one of my hockey tracksuits.
But it's funny you say that because my phone got jammed a couple weeks ago,
okay.
and I was going through the pictures, and it came up to the speeches, and I just went through the speech this week before I came here, and going to the tracksuit, I was driving you nuts, no joke, for like 10 years, 11, almost close.
Yeah, like my whole time playing.
Your whole
hockey.
time playing hockey. I go, man, like I always come and see you. I come down every 2-3 months. All I ask is for a tracksuit. I'll pay you for the tracksuit. Like I'll order one. I don't know how it works.
Well,
right?
because that's the thing, right? It was like the weirdest thing. Like everybody gives their size, and then they give you a tracksuit, but nobody knows where they come from. Nobody knows where you buy them. Like the team just gets them, So I was always like, oh yeah, it was mostly my dad, man. I was like fucking 10 years
I
old.
know,
You're
I
asking
know, I
a
know.
10-year-old to get you the tracksuit.
I know,
My
but
dad my dad wasn't asking anybody. Like he's just like whatever. So when I got old enough, I was like, all right,
it's folded. It's put away. Mint.
mint.
I still have. Oh yeah.
Don't even wear it.
I never wore it. It's still mint in the box. So obviously, as you know, Jules said you said the speech, and then what'd you say? He said after 10 long or whatever how many years, this finally happened. So I'm like, I had not an idea, but like, I honestly thought you were gonna give me something about Arnold, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I wonder what it is. So you gave me the box. I opened the box. I started crying, right? And Tanya goes, "Why are you crying?" I said, "I drove this poor kid nuts for like who knows how many years for a tracksuit, and I finally got it." She goes, "You gonna wear it?" I said, "Never. It's staying in the box. I'm not even touching it."
That's awesome. It was like a Mississauga Braves tracksuit, so it was like the Chicago Blackhawks logo. So it was actually pretty crispy.
Yeah, it is. It's still nice, man.
it's a
It's
nice
got that
tra-
nice material. It's a nice
It's
tracksuit.
a dope tracksuit. And like growing up playing minor hockey, you don't really realize. Like I was talking to my cousin about this. Like when you grow up, like they give you gloves, pants, the jerseys,
Yeah,
a
they give you everything,
tracksuit,
right?
hat, jacket, winter
nice,
jacket.
it's nice.
It's dope, bro. Like they do a good job here.
Yeah, it's nice to represent.
Yeah,
It's-
they do a good job in the GTA with the hockey, bro. They hook you up like
Yeah.
with everything to look good, whatever. So you got married, whatever. Next question: what changed when you had your son? Like, like quick, like
Can
you know,
can
like
you cry on the podcast?
yeah, bro, cry. I don't care. I
Nah,
almost cried.
I'm
I almost
jo-
cried with my dad. Whatever. But what was like that switch for you? Because you were always into like jujitsu and self defense and stuff like that. Knife fighting, knife self defense and tactical guys and the army and all this type of stuff. So everybody knows that you're a killer. Anybody that's spoken to me knows that like when it comes to jujitsu, when it comes to like nogi grappling, when it comes to like protecting your family, like but there was a switch. That's why I wanted to ask you this specific question. Like,
yeah, well,
what
it's
changed?
the hard work you put in. Like, you know, like I appreciate the comments, but it's not like, you know, you have to take, like I always say it, you know, and I'm gonna be very repetitive. You have to take time to self-develop, right? So it's, you want to better yourself every day. Look, I'm not an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner. Like, I'm not. Look, I train at TriStar. I put in. I work hard. You know, I got my buddy that he comes to the house. We roll together, and he makes me better every day because, like, we call him the fire rocket. Like the kid's a rocket. So he pushes you every day. So those are the people you want to be with, are the ones that push you. So I find that's why I'm very efficient. I'll use the word efficient.
You love surrounding yourself with people like that.
Yeah, you have to surround yourself with people like that, and that's what I want to teach my kid, bro. And we just had this conversation half an hour ago. Life is not about money. It's not what you're gonna. You have to leave a legacy behind, you know. And it's the truth, because, like I always say, yeah, fine. You leave the kid money. What's he gonna do with it? He's got no tools. How is he gonna build a house with no hammer, no nails, or whatever drill? You know, so
like you're more focused on like the mindset.
You gotta leave this kid the mindset. You gotta leave the kid where. Look, I used to walk to school at 6 years old by myself. You got to take the fear out of the kid. You have to make the kid fearless. You know what I mean?
Like, and then that leads to like them feeling like they can accomplish anything. Them like being confident. Like
when you break the fear, bro, of anything, just like now with the podcast, I was literally shitting my pants. Like, I'm not used to this stuff. Like, when do you ever see your cousin on a podcast or just talking? Yes,
podcast virginity.
Podcast virginity, right?
I just took it. Hey. That's
so
awesome.
That's what you want to do. You want to, I call it breaking the fear. Once the kid breaks the fear, like now I wake up in the morning, he's ready to go, man. He calls me papaps. So he goes, okay, papaps, we go train. I look at him like, you want to go train? He's like, yeah, I gotta get it in. And I'm like, that to me, bro.
Tell him how old your son is.
He's gonna be 6.
He's 5 years old.
He's 5
talking about training.
Yeah, the kid's a tank, bro. You know, not because he's my kid. Like, people see him, like he's
naturally strong. Oh, that was another fucking funny story. Your kid at his own baptism. I remember this was
picked
like
up the bar stool.
Yeah, chairs. The chairs from the restaurant. This kid would like Lou would hold him in his hand. Like whatever, just like with 2 hands, and he was like gripping and picking up chairs off the floor, and like you couldn't smack the chair out of the kid's hand, like his grip strength.
That's
was,
when
like,
I knew. Well, there was a funny story because I bought him a toy, like a big block, you know, where you put like the blocks in.
Yeah,
it's like a house, you know.
Yeah,
but the thing weighed a ton for his age.
Yeah,
like for us, it's nothing.
Yeah, he's like what? Like
yeah,
10
so
months?
Yeah, not even. So Tanya's like, yeah, okay, it's supper time. So I turned around, I picked him up to turn. He had the house in his hand. And I looked at Tanya. I'm like, that's
my kid.
That was a defining moment where I said, you know what, this kid, he's gonna be stronger than I am, and that's my goal, bro. It's to break the fear. He has to be better than me, which I see it.
But, yeah.
You know, like he's young. Yeah, you know. Look, what were we doing at 6? I was driving daddy mental.
Yeah,
it's gonna come. Like so. That's people ask me like, what's your goal with your kid? My goal, with my kid, is not to be like that kid you see on YouTube where he's got abs, he's doing 30 push-ups. No, it's exactly what he told me. He woke up and he's like, it's time to get it in. Mindset. It's time. Hard work, man. Work, bro. And I
and
just
he's willing to put in the work.
And he's willing to put in the work. And I just put well, not me, Tanya. She just put something up on Instagram where laziness pays off now, hard work pays off later.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a process, man, you know?
For sure, bro. And the next question, like leading up to talking about Cristiano, which for anyone that doesn't know, you named him after Cristiano Ronaldo. It is spelt the exact same way with no H. So I mean that's pretty cool. He thinks he's Portuguese now. He's fucking right.
I'm not him.
No, not you.
Yo, the kid. Yeah, the kid.
He keeps running around saying.
Yeah, because he sees the Portuguese jerseys everywhere. So he's like, what's going on over here?
Yeah. So when he got here, I was like, hey Bello, like we just won the Euro. Like, hey, by the way, you're Italian. By the way, just letting you know, bro. And he's like, I'm Italian. Like running around,
he changed.
screaming it. He's like, yeah, we won. I was like, yeah, we won. Like,
we won.
Celebrated.
Cristiano
okay?
Ronaldo's.
He's good, but he came to Juventus to play in Serie A. So Italian soccer at the end of the day. Another question. Why did you choose me to be the Godfather for this low man?
Well, obviously, because we went through the story with Daddy, right? And the way Daddy raised me, like I don't want to say Daddy's old, right? I don't want to get, I don't want to.
He's not old. He's 50.
I don't want to get murdered. He's gonna be 50, but I want my kid to prosper and like flourish, especially with you, bro. For me, what Daddy taught you, he taught me, and you can teach my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, look, I grew up very traditional, Sicilian. The Godfather is it's a big thing. For me, it's huge.
Especially for Sicilians. Bro.
Yeah, it's huge, right? So it's like, knock on wood, something happens to me, like he's gonna be left in the right hands. So that's, a lot of people say, yeah, Godfather is just but for me, I take it very seriously. So for you, it was no hesitation, right? It was like, I called Daddy, I'm like, I'm gonna take Jules, you know that, eh? He's like, I saw it coming, but it's like, he goes, I want you to put the stamp on it. I go, bro, there was no stamp.
No question.
It was already sealed and delivered.
Mm-hmm.
It was done. So it was like, he's like, okay. He's like, you're gonna tell him? I go, yeah, I'm gonna call him. And that's how it is, bro. And I trust you. I trust my kid with you in my life.
That's awesome.
And that's
it's been an experience and a half for me, man. All of a sudden I'm Zio Jules. Like, never been fucking Zio Jules in my life.
Bro,
never...
he hasn't stopped talking about you. It's a month.
Yeah, he's like...
Every day he's FaceTiming, he's texting, what's Jules' number? I said, what do you mean, what's Jules' number? So I got him like a little, I had like an old iPad. iPod.
Oh,
they're like, it's like 20 years old. So he's like, how do you punch in the thing? Because it's all cracked, right?
Yeah.
So I said, just press this. So it's easy now for him to press and FaceTime, right?
Yeah. No, he's got his own email. He's like sending me emojis and dinosaurs and all this stuff. And like, honestly, man, like what a crazy experience it's been for me just to watch your son grow, like from holding him like in my arms, like when I was like still super young. How old was I? Like 18 maybe at the time.
You were young, man. 6 years ago.
I was 18. Yeah, I was 18 at the time. And no, I did.
It's perfect timing, right? It's like just
right as I'm becoming an adult.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting out of my stupid phase, like especially now, like whatever, like
But it's a good thing, bro. You're running a business. You're mature. You want to send the right message. Healthy lifestyle.
Of course.
Strong. Exactly what I'm trying to do, not only for me, but for him and for
everybody.
People that I want to help, right? So it's like, what greater message, man?
Mm-hmm.
You have to take care of yourself. Like, and I say this all the time.
Yeah,
Again, repetitive.
He's always like stretching. He's always using the sore, right?
He's in the gym before I am.
He gives me massages.
Yeah,
I was sitting down the other day and he just like starts rubbing my traps. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you a massage, Gio." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
And you got to remember, right? Kids watch. So I have to lead by example, right? I can't be like an idiot like I used to be.
Yeah, you can't say you can't say what to do and then not practice it.
Yeah,
like kids aren't stupid either, bro. They're gonna know like my dad says don't do this, but then he goes and fucking does it.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
it's
mean?
like monkey sees everything, man. So it's like
you have to be careful what you say too, man.
So it's like you gotta try at least put him on the right path,
Of course, bro. And that's gonna lead us into like on the topic of helping people. So I want to ask you, what brought you to create LTC? First of all, tell everybody what it means, and what are your plans / aspirations for the new brand?
So LTC obviously is Luigi, Tanya, and Cristiano.
So your family.
So family, right? I want to name the company after the family. So it took me about a week, 2 weeks to really figure out because I had other ideas too, right? So I find it just like hit the sweet spot, the LTC, short, nutrition and performance. So long story short, I got into it because, like I said, during COVID, a lot of people were coming to the house to train, and like I was helping them out, and you start to really think,
Yeah, like so you had a garage gym.
Yeah.
But like then like you start to add more to it. Like you set it up properly.
I set it up.
You put a TV in there, like a couch, a treadmill,
it's a full blown gym now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what really led me up to it was when I started training at TriStar, I wanted to try a tournament. Like I never did a tournament before.
This is for no-gi grappling, everybody. So it's basically like the jiu-jitsu that I was doing, but instead of wearing like the jacket and the pants, like you're just wearing like just athletic like
your
tight,
rash
like,
guard and shorts. You know, so
I was gonna say rash guard, but I'm like the fucking general public has no idea what a rash. It's basically Under Armour type.
So what people wear when they go play hockey and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
So I was rolling with some of my buddies, and they're like, "Man, you know, like you're strong, you're explosive. Like, I think you should lose a bit of weight, right?" And I'm like, "What do you mean lose weight?" He's like, "Yeah, you should lose weight and go into like a smaller category, and you'll
be stronger than the guys
right?
in the group." Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I've been struggling with. That's another thing. Like I've been struggling with my weight for my whole life. You know, up and down, up and down. And they're like, "No, man." He's like, "We got the guy for you." So that's when they introduced me to George Lockhart, right? Was that from TriStar?
Yeah.
So obviously it's not going to be George taking care of your stuff. Like, yeah, obviously you send him messages, you know, on Instagram DM, he answers. But
tell everybody like, so he's a nutrition / weight cut specialist.
Yeah, for the UFC, right? He's the number one.
Not for the UFC, it's his own brand.
It's his own brand, Lockhart and Leith.
Yeah, and he like just give him the names.
Yeah, he does like everybody in the UFC right now. He's got like over 300.
Yeah, he does Connor.
He does Connor. My old coach just did Dustin Poirier, Eric Pena. You can look him up.
Who else? Tyson Fury.
And now Dan Leith is, if I'm not mistaken, is with Demi Lovato. That's so dope, he does like high end athletes.
Celebrities.
He's very well known. He's the nutrition guru, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, with the amount of people he has on the UFC.
Yeah,
roster,
He's up there. When it comes to the UFC roster, I'll call him the GOAT, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So he linked me up with Eric Pena. And he has his own platform, right? He's got a platform, which I have now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 212, if I'm not mistaken, 210. And then it took me 127 days. I went down to 172 for the tournament. So, but there's a lot more to it, right?
40-pound weight cut, bro.
Yeah,
that's fucking deadly.
It's not. People say it's a nutrition app. It's not a nutrition app. You know, it teaches you your hormones. You know how it is, man. I don't want to get all scientific. Insulin, you know,
it gives you hydration,
cortisol, hydration.
Very thorough.
It's very thorough.
You
know, it tells you the grocery list. People think, I gotta go buy dragon fruit. No, it's an everyday grocery list. Whatever you have in the fridge, it just it updates all the time. It shows you what you can make, generates meals for you every day.
For sure.
And if you want to change the meal, you press on the arrow, and it's like, okay.
That's what I was about to touch on quickly. Was like as a nutrition coach myself, the ability to alter preferences. Like if somebody doesn't want cashews today for snack, what else can I have? And it gives you fucking Rolodex.
It gives you a Rolodex of what to have. But it also teaches you, like I always say, like I had one, I don't like to say client, because for me LTC is about relationships. Like I always tell you, like, so I had my friend, let's say they're traveling. Yeah, but what happens if I go on vacation? And I tell him, I said, bro, but you didn't want to have cashews one morning, you wanted to have pecans. So let's say, I don't know.
Let's say the resort has pecans.
The resort has, whatever, like just talking general now. You go to the resort, you're making scrambled eggs, you want to have some fruit, whatever. You know already how much fruit, how much this, how much. Yes, you want to indulge a little bit.
Of course.
But
life is all about balance.
Balance, right?
Me and you talked about this as well. The ability to earn that.
You have to
earn the right to be balanced. I mean, like, I'm not saying that, you know, whatever. If you're happy with where you are, that's whatever. But if you have the goal in place or the goal set, or if you're like a complainer and you're like, I want to lose weight, but I can't type of thing, then, you know, you have to be strict and consistent to a certain degree until you can have balance.
Yeah, like, look, for some people, they overthink the nutrition, I find, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you went to school 5 years for kinesiology. I can't even say it.
I did just the fitness and health promotion.
The fitness and health. So at the end of the day, we can hear and talk our ears off. It's consistency. Yeah. That's what it is. And like, again, going back on, we'll call it a cheat meal. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you have to earn it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you can't start Monday, then Friday you call me and say, yeah, I did good all week. Can I have a cheat meal? So then I'll relate it back to finances. So I'll tell the guy, okay, listen, you worked all week, you made $500. can you lend me 400? The guy's like, man, come on, man. He's like, $400. My pay's 500. Well, there you go. You don't have the money yet to lend me. So now let's say I call you in 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? You have, I don't know, $3,000 saved. And I tell you, listen, Jules.
I need $400.
Make it easy. I need $200.
Sweet.
3,000 to 200.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll lend you the $200, right? You can play with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what that's my again, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different opinion,
For
right?
sure. And I think the thing that, what basically resonated with you was just like, once you learned the right way to do it from the best, you were like, I want to give this to other people. Just kind of like the same thing that happened to me. Like, as soon as I went to school and I realized, like, this is actually the way to help people. This is the right approach. This is how you make it personal. This is how you do this, that, whatever. Fitness and health is such like a big, like, wholehearted community. Like, if you're a fitness guy, if you love working out and you meet a guy that loves working out, man, instant connection.
Instant connection.
It's like, bro, you get it. I get it. And there's just a respect there. You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, the message. Exactly.
We're going to end it on this.
We're going to end this.
Yeah, tell me what the message is.
Anybody can write a program. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it watching your podcast. Anybody can go on Google, write a program.
Yeah.
A coach is, like you always tell me, solving problems. And a coach also has to get the guy to the gym. So you have to motivate that person.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can't motivate or you can't inspire by doing what you do, again, going back to you do you.
Leading by example. Yeah.
Leading by example. How is that person going to trust you with his health?
With his progress.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I'll give you an example. I'm trying to break the Quebec record.
For 50K.
For the 50 ultra marathon. And it's not, sorry, I want to go back because I don't want to say the word try. Because somebody asked me that the other day, you're going to try and break it? I said, I'm not going to try and break it.
You're going to break it.
I'm going to break it, but I don't know by how much. And again.
That's motivation, people.
But I do it for myself and I do it for my family. I don't do it to go post a picture. Yeah, I broke the 50. No, I did it for me because obviously you know the story behind the 50.
Exactly.
It just fueled me even more.
Yeah.
So you do better for yourself and you're going to attract, right?
And that's why I had you on the podcast, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you so much for coming on, bro. We are all done, guys. Honestly, one of my biggest inspirations in this life. If it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't be who I am today. Team Bionic would not be a thing, and I wouldn't have this physique, okay? I'm not going to say anything, but this guy at a very young age, I knew I wanted the aesthetics. I wanted to be jacked. I wanted to be healthy. Lou is a huge part of it. Just want to thank you all so much. Do you have any last words?
No. Let's go play golf.
Let's go play golf. Love you guys so much. Thank you again for listening. If you are still here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video. We'll see you guys next time on the Bionic Podcast. Peace.